So I promised that I was gonna go back on my villain arc and start tackling party finder problems, and I think I want to start here. So getting into this clear for one party that I see right now, right in front of me, I ended up joining it as a paladin. Mind you, I did clear this as a paladin. So I know what I'm doing. It's just that it takes me a bit because I don't play these type of classes anymore because people are not offering them. So then I went in as a paladin. We get to our spots, like we do the setup and everything, and we are ready to pull. This guy took like 3 minutes to pass the lead to somebody else who has the fight open, and I'm not sure what was the issue with him starting the duty, but anyway, let's go for that part, right? So we pulled the boss, and this boss was at A, and she's not at the middle of the arena. So that was a big red flag for me. And I'm like, you know what? Nah. Let's skip over that red flag. The fact that he literally just gap closed the moment that the timer hit 0, right? So then I'm doing my opener. We kept it going. Nothing bad happening. Just press my buttons and have fun. This is what it's all about playing Paladin. Okay? But getting to the first mechanic, mind you, they didn't get to their spot on time and people die. I'm like, okay, normally this is supposed to be a wipe, but we're going to keep it going because I believe that, a warm-up practice is really good because it gets people warmed up. And I do believe in warm-up runs. So I basically just say, hey, just keep it going. Don't wipe. Don't jump in the wall. So we kept it going, and let's see what we can do. All right? So get into the next section where we get to the ad phase. And mind you, I'm doing really good. And I go ahead and get the Yan because as an off tank, I was supposed to get the Yan. I see squirrels coming over and buff the Yan, and then the Yan end up bopping me, and I end up dying. So that was strange because Gunbreaker is normally just AOE and able to take the moves, the squirrels easily, but he ended up didn't, and that was just strange. So then he ends up apologizing, and everything is all good. I don't care. Like it's a warm up pull, okay? So here in this little section right here, this little clip, it's not my fault. The dancer was way too far out, and I'm max melee. So then we end up wiping. She apologized for being too far, and I'm like, it's all good, it's all good. We're gonna keep it going, right? Because again, people need to pay attention more. Her brain was off, so clearly dancers do that. So then the next pull, and mind you, my stance is on, but I want you to look at the left side of your screen. Look at the enemy list before you start complaining in my comments and talk about your stance was on. You took the squirrels. That was your fault. No, I own no squirrels after I did all of this. I own no squirrels. And I realized my tank stance was on, so that's why I used my last hit on the other rig. Okay? So I own no squirrels. I single target and I move out the way. And then the Yan got buffed. And it was a wipe because he didn't move the squirrels all the way to the west side of the arena. He ends up moving it to the north and did not even move it. So before you come at me, as a person who has known to be a tank, not a tank main, but a tank player, I know enemy list. And I own no squirrels in this clip. So don't sit here and come at me sideways in the comment section, please. And thank you. So keeping it going, I told him about the squirrels, move it all the way to the west. He said sorry, and we kept it moving, right? So the next pull, he did exactly just that. And I'm glad he did exactly just that. And this time I fixed my stance to be just clicked off and put it right back on when I'm done. So then I'm sitting over here DPS in the Yan. The moves are still up and still alive. I'm not sure if, the melees are cleaving. I'm not sure if, the dancer is cleaving. I don't know who is doing what. But buttons are not being pressed and things were just still alive. And speaking of still being alive, there's 2 cats jumping all over the place. And you already know what's going to happen. Exactly my point. So we end up wiping because there's not enough DPS on the cat. And nobody died, by the way. So the next pull, we doing this little mechanic right here. And then we ended up seeing exactly what we saw earlier. And I'm like, okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep DPSing. The white mage decided to jump in the wall. And that's when we have to wipe because there's not enough people. I'm like, okay, fine. We're just gonna wipe. We're gonna keep it going. The next pull, everything is going swell. I'm gonna speed up a little bit here because, like, this is a long section right here where I'm just sitting here DPSing the Yan. I'm waiting for the other Yan to spawn so we could go ahead and, like, get into position. And this is where I start cleaving. And of course, the Gunbreaker, if you see on my party list, he got hit by the cat. And I'm like, how you got hit by the cat when you're supposed to be moving out the way? Like, you're not studying your movement, so that's why the cat ended up doing that. But anyway, he ends up dying. I took in the boss, and I'm like, fine, I could take the boss and the Yen at the same time because Paladin is overpowered. For it comes down to mitigations now, way better than Warrior, way better than Dark Knight. So I kept hitting the boss, and I put Reprisal a little bit early, but it doesn't stop me from using Passes of Arms from literally not being used on the party. So then the boss is about to cast her raid wide, and I claim see myself because I know I'm not trying to die to this, but the shield hill did not mitigate, so as the gunbreaker, so as the rest of the party, and then we end up dying, and I was like, yeah, there was no mid, like, at all, and he wasn't taking the boss back, he wasn't reprisaling or nothing. I don't know what the hell was going on. So now for the big long section that I had to speed up again. So this is the long section of us saying, like, there's something wrong with this gunbreaker because, we cannot keep wiping to Yan being buffed or him just getting clipped and end up dying from a cat. So that's when the party questioned him, and then he ends up saying that he saw bridges because this is where they use the website to weaponize it against the gunbreaker. And they're trying to hold him accountable for not only posting this party as a clear for one, but also getting free prog off of it, off of experienced players. That's when he ends up making an excuse about me not controlling the Yans, apparently. And I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem is the squirrels are buffing the Yans because you're not controlling the squirrels. If you don't control the squirrels will buff the Yan. So then the dancer or somebody in the party ends up saying, yo, like, you at 47% in this fight. You're not clear ready. And then that's when he's like, oh, I'm at lava. And now he's trying to switch it up as if like he actually is clear ready, but he isn't. Because 47% is high. That means his team either was dying too much or not doing damage, or he was straight up lying. So then someone said, okay, last pull, because at this point it's kind of BS of what he was saying. Changing your prog point just because somebody's questioning you about where you actually is in the fight is questionable. So get into the ad phase again. And of course, yes, again, I'm going to have my stance off because I'm going to be cleaving a lot. As a paladin, you have too much damage here. And it's great, too, to have so much damage. So then, I did my Kafia combo. That cat was still alive for some reason. I'm not sure why the DPS is not killing that. But then I go ahead and hit the other ray and wait for the Yans to spawn just to notice that the squirrels was north again. It buffed the Yan, and it ends up two-shotting me. Mind you, I don't easily die as a paladin to a Yan. So if I got two-shotted, that means I died easily from a squirrel buffing the Yan. So I'm not sure what the white mage was talking about. Talking about it was too far. If it means like too far from healing, yeah, but I can heal myself as a paladin. So that Yan got buffed and I got two-shotted. So that's when someone said prog skipping is not cool, or lying about clear for one is not cool, and they disband the party right after. So we all know who got blacklisted at the end of the day. It was the Gunbreaker who got blacklisted for literally lying about clear for ones. Please do not do this in Party Finder. You will be blocked. Thank you.